And what this will do is to create some thickness on it, I believe. So this one I don't use very often, but this one I do use very often is the warp. So let's go back to our bridge here. And if you want to create a nicer bridge, then the warp node is your node. If I click on this one, you will see that I have a preview. The ghost one is my old one. And I can have my bridge warp in one direction. It's bended in this case. I can twist it to do something like this. Or I can, just use the flare or squish. Or I can use the bend, which I do use very often. I can change this axis. You can see I have my gizmo here. I can either change the gizmo or I can change the upper and lower bounds. So if I go like 100, I can change this one, something like this. I can also rotate this one. Let's go here. It still has some issues with the scale, so it's a little bit tricky to check. So if I check this one, I can rotate the axis, so I can bend along this direction, and now you have a bended bridge. So if I check the handle, I can increase or decrease the influence that the bend has in one axis or another one. And I can also change the bend, how many degrees I want. If I want something like this, or I want just slight curve. So I can click accept. And this one will just take a little bit because I have my nanite on it. If I click save, my collision didn't update, so I will update very fast. Remove collision, apply. There you go. Now let's put it here and play from here. And now you have your bended bridge. Okay. Very useful. That's for bending objects. And another one, and I will use this one as an example, is the lattice. One of the most useful ones. So if you're familiar with Blender or 3D Studio Max or Maya, you will check that the lattice modifier is very useful. So what you have, this is control points, and these control points go in different directions like X, Y, and Z. You can multiply them along all those axes to have different handles. What you can do is to change those handles, like let's just say 2 by 2 by 2, which means I have like a cube. And what can I do with this? Let me change this to 3 by 3 by 3. I can either select all of those, select all of those handles. Let me create again. Okay, select and just move them. I can rotate it. I can scale it. If I go close enough, I can scale it like this, squeeze it. I can select all of those, go closer to my axis, and I can move it. And this is a very good way to deform your meshes. And once you're happy with it, you just click accept. I think it will be easier to check with a box. If I have my lattice, you can check easier here how you can modify all those objects here. Very useful stuff. Okay, click accept, and now I have my bended cube. So let's go to the displays. The displace is one of the most useful nodes inside the modeling editor tools. So the displace, it's a way to displace polygon along different axes. You have a bunch of different options for this one. So for this one, I will create a rectangle, click OK, complete. And now I will go to my polygons. I will increase the polygon size of this one, just for the sake of demonstration. You can go to Mesh Operation, Remesh, and you will increase the size of the polygons. Click Accept, and then go to your displays. And by default, it will be 4 subdivisions. And if you see the loading, you cannot see a progress bar, but if you see this, it means it's loading. So I will put 2 subdivisions. By default, you're using the purling noise. You have different noises. You have like the sine wave. You have the random noise. You have the constant. And you have a texture 2D map. So what I want to do is to just show the purling noise. Or let's start with the sine wave. With the sine wave, we can change, like for example, I can change the sine wave frequency, 0.1. Let me change the subdivisions to 1 to make it faster. 0.2, 0.5. You can have very interesting results with this. You can also change this to 1 or 50. Have some crazy results. Actually, it's capped. So, and you can change non-uniformly, like 50 on X, 50 on Y, 50 on Z, and you can have something like this. You can also do the purling noise. And by default, you have all these parameters. You can play with this. Let's just say 0.1, 0.001. You can change this to decrease or increase the frequency. You can check like 0.05. And you can have something like this. And you can use this as your ground if you want. Like if you click accept, you can put it here, and we can put some textures here. Let's just grab some megascans, surface, material instance, and let's just grab this one. You know, the problem with this mesh is that the displacement doesn't follow the texture. So this is why we are going to use the displacement along the texture. So let's create another rectangle. Click OK. And here, if I go to my displays, you can check I have the option for texture 2D map. What I have here is the displacement. And here I can choose a texture. Let's just say I want to choose this texture here. And by default, it will be very hard to see anything because I don't have much subdivisions. So what I will do is to go to Remesh, click OK, Displace. And now you can see I'm using this texture, which has the height map, where the white values go up and the darker values go down. And this is a texture grab from Quixel. So if I check here, I can actually apply my material here. Click accept, and you will see I have my material here that goes along my texture. And this is extremely useful because you can actually tile this. If I click Alt, you can actually tile, and they will tile perfectly. And by using this method, you can create a floor, something like this, and you can actually combine all of those. Go here, append, new asset, click accept. And this will be our new asset. And if it's too many triangles, you can just go to Mesh Operations and go to Simplify. And we will go through those steps little by little, but you can simplify by percentage or triangle count. Let's just say like 5,000 seems to be a decent number for this one. And you have your low poly version of this. Or you can use percentage like modify by 50% or 25%. And then when you click accept, then you will have your mesh here. If I play from here, oh, this one is a little bit small, so there you go. I have my floor here. Another thing that is really cool you can do with that displacement is like to create some kind of cave or something.